Well, hello, and thanks for joining us for Julian Douglas's inaugural speech as he takes over from Nigel Vaz as the new president of the IPA. Now, Dougie, as he is more often known, takes over at a crucial time for our business. Where Nigel Vaz's challenge was to reimagine our business, it will be Dougie who will lead us into and out of what some would say economic gloom and unimagined challenges of COVID and into a brighter, fairer future. For those of you who don't know Dougie, he is the CEO of VCCP International and also their vice chairman. He's been heading up the IPA Talent Leadership Group, which has been the driving force behind such programs as our nationwide annual Careers Open Day, called Advertising Unlocked, the D&I initiative, the I-List, and most recently, the Future of Fairness Report. His role as president is now to guide us forward on key issues, and I know he has a lot to say, and very soon we'll be hearing from him. But before I hand over, and we get on with the purpose of today, let me share a few housekeeping notes. This virtual session will be 30 minutes long, and after Dougie has spoken, I'll be opening up the floor for your questions and reactions to his speech. So please do put these in the chat box so that we can try and moderate them and answer as best we can. Nothing's off limits, and we'll try to answer them as best as we're able. It now gives me great pleasure to introduce our new president, Julian Douglas.
Thank you, Paul, and hello, everyone. I'm extremely honoured to speak to you today as the new president of the IPA, and I'd like to start with a few thanks. So first, thank you to everybody on the council who voted for me. Thank you to Nigel Vaz for your tremendous efforts in the toughest of circumstances over the past 2 years. Thanks to Adrian and Charles and everyone at VCCP for allowing me the time and the space to take this on. And thank you to all the exceptional people I've worked with and learned from over the past 20 years and getting me to a state where I might make a half-decent job of this. When news of my appointment came out in December, I seemed to get two main responses. You can't be serious and please shake things up. So over the next 24 months, I will prove to you that I can be serious, and I'll certainly do my best to shake things up. And that starts with my inaugural speech. So in years gone by, this would be happening after a decent lunch at a fancy London hotel. But today, we're all at home, and you're probably having a cup of tea and a biscuit. But rather than doing my speech from here, I thought I'd take the opportunity to get out of London, to showcase and symbolise the talent that exists right across the UK. So I went to my hometown of Manchester to film my address. And here it is.
Hello, everyone. I want to start from a place of passion. I believe in this organisation and I love our industry. I've grown up with it, working and playing at full throttle as I forged my career, even meeting my wife at one of the many once great agencies now swallowed up by rationalisation. But I also want to be honest. It feels to me that we've been talking about the same things and diagnosing the same problems for at least the past decade, all centred on the diminished and diminishing role of advertising as an industry. Despite our best efforts, we've seen our relevance wane, our budgets shrink, retainers replaced by piecemeal projects, the relentless march of short-termism, in-housing, consultancies and tech platforms, all administered by the time and resource-hungry tyranny of the pitch process. Once again, we are ranked as the UK's least trusted profession. 40 years after the IPA's Effectiveness Awards were established as the gold standard, we still have to make the case for the value advertising can deliver. And it's taken me becoming president of the IPA to convince my own father that what I do might be a proper job after all. Don't get me wrong. We have the right concerns about our industry, but what we've lacked up until now is the conditions necessary to really do something game-changing about them. You don't need me to remind you what an awful thing COVID has been, emotionally, economically, societally. But you also don't need me to shake things up. COVID has done that for us. One of the very few positives coronavirus has delivered is an inflection point, a discontinuous moment to change things, an opportunity to press reset on a whole range of issues far beyond advertising. Nobody wants to revert to the world of 2019. As Einstein put it, in the middle of difficulty lies opportunity. Disruption and uncertainty can be very painful, but they open windows as well as closed doors. A second, rare positive from the pandemic is that it's also shown us that with a trigger of sufficient horsepower, enormous change is possible. The digital technology allowing us to work from home, in fact, work from anywhere there is Wi-Fi, has existed and been largely ignored for at least 10 years. Yet lockdown saw businesses, schools and families take up that technology in 10 months, often in 10 weeks or even days. What if we were to harness those positives to apply a multiplier effect to how we tackle the perennial problems advertising and society more broadly faces? What if we were to make incrementalism our enemy and resolve instead to move 10 times sooner, 10 times bigger, 10 times bolder? Going after that what if is what I want my presidency to do. I've come to Manchester to film this speech because it's the city where I grew up, the city where my Irish mother and Jamaican father raised my family, building their careers at Salford Royal Hospital and Salford University, providing me the opportunity of a first-class education. I'm here because it's a city that finds renewal and reinvention in turbulence and trouble. Manchester doesn't mess about. We go all in or we go home. I could not stand in a better spot to tell a story of bold creativity, innovation, culture and commerce than here in Manchester's Science and Industry Museum, on the site of the oldest surviving passenger railway station, in the heart of the world's first industrial city. I used to come here as a child in awe of the machines and the technology. I now bring my daughter Maya to be inspired by ideas that change the world. Manchester's progress is one of leaps and not increments. It uses spoils of the textile trade to build a rich cultural and educational life. Alan Turing published his landmark paper on AI here. It's home to the UK's first public library. It's been an engine of political and economic reform and a vanguard of free trade for centuries, the birthplace of the women's suffragette movement and the NHS. And it's been no stranger to hardship, enduring terrorist attacks and turning economic decline to become a successful post-industrial centre for sports, broadcasting, design and technology. I can't come to Manchester and not feel optimistic. And I do feel optimistic about our future. Looking under the bonnet of the IPA, I see lots of smart initiatives that already exist. But steady progress should not be the default. Where there is something of sufficient importance, as President, I challenge the Council and this organisation to turbo boost the very best of what we already do. I'm calling this IPA 10X. The biannual effectiveness awards are quite rightly globally renowned, but they are written and read by a select few. Let's seize this opportunity to galvanise the grassroots and commit to creating an effectiveness culture within agencies day to day. To this end, I am proud to launch today the IPA Effectiveness Accreditation Programme for member agencies, creating processes, environments, attitudes, and ultimately values that deliver pride in the business results of what we do for our clients and ourselves. Accreditation will be assessed every 2 years in the alternate year from the IPA Effectiveness Awards, and that accreditation will last for 2 years. A key achievement of the past 2 years has been the establishment of the IPA's partnership with the London School of Economics on its MBA Essentials qualification. Over the next 2 years, let's 10x the number of people who complete this course, so many more of our members can grasp the fundamentals of business language and thinking at an earlier stage of their careers. I challenge the IPA and you, its member agencies, to accelerate efforts around talent, diversity and inclusion. Despite good intentions, we have seen only glacial progress on this. The brand new Future of Fairness publication, launched in February this year, provides a roadmap for every agency to follow. To each and every individual in this industry, I say, do not be a passenger. Every single one of us must take personal accountability for us to overcome the systemic inequality that has endured for too long. Let's not limit our ambition to our own industry. From environmental degradation to societal inequality, the world has never been more in need of creative solutions to difficult problems. Creativity is what we do. It's our constant. Turning that creativity outwards is why the IPA was founded. We came together in 1917 at the behest of Prime Minister David Lloyd George with a request for the best minds in advertising to contribute to the First World War effort. In the words of our first president, the association was founded not with a selfish and restrictive object, but upon the broad principles of a national emergency. I'm with Mark Reed when he posits that our ability to look at the world differently makes us better at finding fresh solutions than the management consultants. New York engaged creatives to solve the deprivation of Manhattan's Lower East Side and was rewarded with the High Line. I'm certain McKinsey would have given them more of what they already had: subway stations. Our creativity, our unique understanding of the alchemy that happens when strategy meets human perception, our ability to make people think, feel, and behave differently is a powerful force. I want this time of flux to trigger us to do something worthwhile with these gifts. For our industry, yes, but also to play a much more prominent leadership role far beyond it. That's why I'm delighted to announce that I will create an IPA 10X think tank, working with Rory Sutherland, a man who has always waged war on incrementalism, to show the world what advertising brightest thinkers are capable of. What can we make possible through creativity, ideas, and our own skills in engagement and persuasion? My final area of focus will be tech. We are a core part of the createch industry, the intersection of creativity and technology. The advancement of technology and what's possible is phenomenal. But I'm acutely aware that we are missing a massive creative opportunity right under our noses: gaming. This sector is bigger than the movie and music industry combined, and with the explosion of mobile gaming, is growing at pace. Its vast ecosystem includes huge and highly engaged audiences, many of whom do not even consider themselves to be gamers. Yet it is still largely overlooked by us as an industry. Combined with 5G, the possibilities for innovation and inclusivity are endless. This is why I have lined up a series of partnerships with the very best companies in this space from around the world to upskill and collaborate with agencies. Gaming technology itself has evolved to revolutionize virtual production, expanding opportunities to create immersive experiences. So I'm proud today to announce a new collaboration with Epic Games, exploring ways in which IPA agencies can use Unreal Engine real-time technology to unlock creativity. I am delighted also to announce today a new IPA partnership with Facebook to work with them on the advancement of AR in marketing through a series of educational seminars and practical workshops. Looking ahead, we will welcome the world to the UK for COP26 in Glasgow this November and next year's Commonwealth Games in Birmingham, creating more exciting opportunities for collaboration. Finally, as global Britain, we should be looking beyond our own nation boundaries. That is why in 2022, I will take part in a trade mission to India and encourage IPA agencies to join me, reaching out to meet, learn from, and collaborate with new tech partners in the world's biggest democracy and emergent economy, Asia's answer to, and increasingly rival to, Silicon Valley. My 10 minutes to pitch 10X to you is up. I need you, your energy, ideas, and opinions to make this sooner, bigger, bolder agenda happen. So please see this as an invitation to get involved. advertising is ready to fulfill much bigger ambitions than just survival. We have the data, the technology, the pure creative firepower to change the world and our place in it. Let's get started.
Well, thank you, Dougie, and congratulations on giving our first ever virtual inaugural presidential address. I know if we were doing it live, you'd be basking in the glow now, and hundreds of people would be applauding. It was a great speech, I thought, and I'm sure everyone agrees. Now, we've already got quite a few questions coming in, and I noticed that a number of people have complimented you on your choice of location for the speech. Excellent. So perhaps we'll come back to that in a moment. But should we kick off with a question from, I think, Gemma Charles, wasn't it, on the issue of gaming? Do you want to pick that one up?
Yeah, very happy to speak to that, and thanks for sending the question, Gemma. My feeling is gaming is such a massive, it's a cultural phenomenon, it's a massive market, and it's got huge numbers of highly engaged people with massive potential for advertisers. But as an industry, we've been missing out on it so far. We've really been playing on the edges, not just in terms of getting in touch with the audiences, but also the talent that exists in that ecosystem. And I say ecosystem because it's not just about grouping all gamers together. My feeling is we've been slow on the uptake in industry, so we should collaborate with partners who really know this world, so we can learn from them and we can learn from the players and the creators. The collaboration that I call out in the speech with Epic Games goes further than that, to actually better understand the technology that sits behind gaming. So with this collaboration, member agencies will be able to explore ways to unlock their creativity in creating immersive experiences. And also the Facebook one will take us, help us better understand the potential and possibilities through augmented reality.
Brilliant. And Peter Cowie has asked if you feel confident that with such an impressive list of sort of actions and objectives, you can deliver them in your presidency. Do you think you've bitten off too much, or do you think you can handle that?
Well, I'm glad that Peter Cowie finds it exciting, and I certainly do as well. And yes, there's a lot to do, but of course we should be ambitious. And the good news is, if you think across the three parts of my agenda, on the IPA 10X, the initiatives already exist. There's already brilliant people at the IPA, and both in the organisation itself, but also the member agencies that make up the IPA, the people who bring their ideas and energy and expertise to the talent, commercial and effectiveness groups. So with their energy and with the fact we've got the initiatives, of course I believe we can deliver against them. It's about getting it done, and we're at the perfect moment in time, we're a discontinuous moment in time to actually make the change. So I'm very confident on that front. On the Think 10X and the Tech 10X, there we're collaborating with brilliant people from inside and outside the industry. And these are people who've got ambition and get things done. So I'm extremely confident on both. I guess in terms of time frame of getting stuff done, it depends on each aspect. But I'm challenging all of us to be ambitious. And I think if you look at what's happened in the last 12 months, we've shown in the industry and in society at large what we can do when we put our minds to it, when we have to. I tuned into Joe Garner from Nationwide Building Society was on the radio this morning, one of our clients at VCCP. And he was talking about Nationwide having everybody working flexibly in perpetuity at Nationwide. That's over 12,000 members of staff. That was unthinkable a year ago. So this enforced social experiment that we've all lived through, that we're living through, has shown amazing differences we can make. And at the IPA, we're practitioners. You know, that's what we are. My agenda is about putting our best ideas into practice with speed, with scale. I think it's what we do best.
Yeah, I suppose given that 10X is the motif for your presidency, it would almost be wrong not to have a big agenda, because we're challenging ourselves to move more quickly, and I think that's absolutely the right thing to do. So I'm with you, and we'll be putting our shoulder to the wheel to help you in all of that. Of course we will. Let's go back to Manchester, because quite a few people have said it was an unexpected but exciting choice to give the speech from there. Do you want to just elaborate on how the IPA and the industry can be perhaps less London-centric as we go forward?
Well, Manchester is close to my heart, so it felt a perfect opportunity that we weren't bound by traditions of how things have done in the past this time. It was a perfect chance to change things, shake things up. But I guess the choice of Manchester was to be symbolic of our industry is truly across the whole of the UK, you know, and in the build up to putting together my agenda, I spoke to people from right across the UK, Victoria, Valerie, sorry, in Northern Ireland. I spoke to Kieran in the Northeast. We've got city groups right around the UK. We've got great agencies, great talent there who are all very much part of this industry, a vibrant part of this industry. And we've got businesses that we work with right across the UK. So I think we already are a nationwide, a UK industry. I guess now's the opportunity as we're changing the way we work, and it's commonplace to work from home, to work location not being specific anymore. If we can seize the opportunity now, we should be far less London-centric going forward in the way we work, the way we put teams together, the way that we create our you know, we build brand.
Absolutely, and I suppose that brings me on to another question that's popped up, which is from Alexia Latham, and she's talking about the Future of Fairness report and the issue of ageism, which is another part of diversity and inclusion, but something that's perhaps not been addressed to the same extent as other sort of characteristics. So I don't know if you have any ideas yet on how you can make that more of a front of mind issue for the industry.
I think that's a great point that she raises, because it's perhaps not had the same profile as other underrepresented groups in the industry. And I think also looking at the census data that came out last week in the IPA census showed the pandemic's hit hardest employees under 25 and over 60. So I think this definitely is a time to look to consider these groups collectively as an industry, and the talent pillar, which is led by Annie and Layla, will definitely be working with them and yourself to look at the targets that we set. We set the targets back in 2016 around gender and ethnicity, and you know, working with the member agencies there will be sure to be looking at age and a number of other underrepresented groups. I think where I get confidence and feel positive about this is I think there's a newfound understanding and recognition of the importance of people in the year we've had. I think everybody, you know, we're both talking from our houses. We've all seen each other's families, kids running in, cats running past. I think we've got a moment in time now that we can't let slip, when people actually understand their colleagues, their clients, their agency folk as people, and everything that means. So I think looking at all the different aspects in diversity and what makes us an inclusive industry will be key.
That's great. And I've got a question here from Nick Hurst, which is looking out of the other end of the telescope, which is, you know, that if you like is about inclusivity, but what about Britain as a sort of global player? And indeed, the question that he raises is, to what extent is the export potential of our industry a focus in your speech? Because we now have to consider, I mean, Nigel's presidency saw Brexit happen. We're now out the other side of that, and we have to consider the UK as a big centre for world advertising, how we might improve our standing globally. And he's asking if you have any thoughts on that.
I absolutely do, and that was why I had that in my final point. The UK is world-class home of advertising. We already make a huge contribution beyond our own nation boundaries in this space, and I think as we accelerate back out of lockdown, we should be looking both directions, really. In previous presidencies, we've been over to Silicon Valley to learn and to understand the tech environment. Recent trade missions have taken us to China to open up opportunities there, which has been really successful. The one that I call out next year is India, and for me, it's not an either or; it's an and. Is to find opportunities where we can bring our real leading understanding of how to build brands, how to engage with customers, and the export potential's fantastic for that. I think in the Reset event that was at the start of the year with ISBA and the Advertising Association, we heard from Oliver Dowden, who called out the need of this industry to supercharge growth for Britain, and we should be very much at the heart of that.
Definitely. Well, we're coming towards the end of the session, Dougie. I've had a chance while you were talking to look at some of the responses and the feedback we've been getting, and you'll be very pleased to know that your speech has gone down exceptionally well. We've got, I mean, I can't name everybody that's paid you the compliment of saying things like, what a great speech, from the heart, absolutely, 10x, brilliant idea. So I suppose it really is down to us now to pick up the challenge, all of us. And, you know, I would, you know, as the head of the IPA, just say that we are able to do these things because the president's set great agendas, but also because of all of you. And, you know, as we go through the next 2 years, we're going to need some of you to step forward and contribute to the efforts that have been outlined today. Because I think, you know, somebody once said, all of us are smarter than any one of us. And for us to maintain our position as a global powerhouse, initiatives like this and getting behind them make all the difference. So I'd like to thank you, Dougie, on behalf of the industry, congratulate you again, and just say I'm really looking forward to working with you, and all the best for the next 2 years.
Thank you very much, Paul, and thanks everyone who tuned in.